starting an interesting series of programming which is none other than object-oriented paradigm. Yes, object-oriented paradigm is such an interesting concept because we can learn it just by having real-time examples. So we can learn object-oriented concepts of programming with the help of real-time objects, right? So this series will be very interesting. So in this particular video what we will learn is, I will list out the concepts of object-oriented paradigm. After that I will explain the common construct that will come in any programming language, right? For example, decision-making statement, your looping statement and operators, these are all common constructs which will not change radically with the programming languages, right? So I will explain in decision-making statements, looping statement and operators, right? So why I have included these in object-oriented paradigm means, so we have created series for Java, .NET, HTML and PHP and many programming languages we are having in our channel, right? So in each specific series if I am telling about decision making statement, looping statement again and again, it will be boring, right? So that these are all common for all the programming languages. So I have included these common constructs of programming languages inside our object-oriented programming, right? So in this series, in this particular video, I will list out the concept of object-oriented programming. After that, we will learn about decision-making statements, looping statements and operators, right? So let's get into the session and let's first see the concept of object-oriented programming. So in this video, I will just list down the concept of OOPs. In our next session, I will clearly explain these things, right? So the basic concept of OOPs are, the main thing is objects and classes, right? After that, encapsulation and data hiding. After that, polymorphism. After that, inheritance. After that, methods and message passing, right? So these are all the major concept of object-oriented programming, right? So I will give a brief intro of these concepts. So what is an object and classes is, so instead of I telling about these concepts in this video, after seeing this video, just comment your thoughts about these OOPs concept. So what is your thought about objects? What is your thought on encapsulation? And what you know about polymorphism and inheritance and message passing, right? So it can be anything, right? So with seeing these terms literally, what is the thing that came into your mind, right? So why in every video I am asking you to comment, right? So why I am asking for these comment from your side is, so to learn programming, trial and error is the best way, right? So that is a method which works well with programming. This is my perspective, right? So each one perspective will be different, right? So this is my perspective that trial and error method will work well for programming. So after seeing this video, do comment your thoughts about object-oriented concept. And if it is wrong, there is no issues about it. Just comment. That's a matter, right? So let's get into decision-making statements, right? So as the name itself says, decision-making statements. So for example, if you are traveling to some destination, right? So to reach a destination, there can be a number of ways, right? So though there are a number of ways available to reach a specific destination, we will choose a way which is very flexible for us, right? So such kind of choosing a way, that is choosing a specific way from a number of ways, is called decision making, right? So for such kind of decision making, we have some construct in our programming language, right? So to make a decision, our decision making statement will work based on a condition, right? So we can select any one choice from a list of choices available. So this is all about your decision making statements. The decision making statements available in programming paradigm are if and switch cases, right? So as I told you before, decision making statement will get executed depending on a condition, right? So we can select any particular choice from the list of choices available, right? So the decision making statements available in programming are if statement and switch block, right? So inside if statement we can have four type of if statement, right? One is simple if, another one is if else block, another one is else if ladder, nested if finally, right? So in this video, in this series is all about object oriented programming concept, right? So this is not related to any specific programming language. So I will explain about decision making statement, looping statement and operators with the help of pseudocode, right? So I will not go into any specific syntax of particular language, right? So I will just explain you with the help of pseudocode alone, right? So you can try with the help of pseudocode. The first thing is simple if, right? So the syntax of simple if is if keyword followed by your condition, right? So inside the block we can have any statement, right? So an example of if statement is, for example, consider you are creating an application of voting, right? So to allow a user to log in into your application, you must validate the age of the user, right? Only if the age of the user is above 18, he or she can log in into the application, right? So this is our goal. We can achieve this with the help of if statement, right? So if age is greater than 18, here age is a variable, right? So if you are using this if construct in C, you can use the variable name as itself, right? So but before using it inside a if construct, it must be declared, right? So if age is greater than 18, inside if block we can print eligible to vote, right? So this statement print eligible to vote, I have given it as pseudocode, right? So this statement will be changed with respect to the programming language you are using. So if you are using this if construct inside a C programming, you can change this statement as printf, right? So if it is Java, you can use the line system.out.println. If it is C#, we can write it as console.writeLine of, right? So for Java and C#, I have explained about printing a line, right? So I will be sharing those two links in the description box. If you want to check it out, you can check it out, right? So this is about your if condition, right? I think this is clear enough, right? So the syntax of your simple if is if keyword followed by your condition. Inside the block we can have any statement, right? So here is an example, right? Let's move on to if else, right? So if the age of the user is greater than 18, we can log in into the system, right? In case if the age of the user is not greater than 18, right? So at such case what the system will do, right? So if we are using simple if statement, only the application will execute if the condition is true. If the condition is false, the application will hang, right? So for removing that drawback, we are having if else statement. So if condition is true, your if block will get executed. If the condition is false, your else block will get executed, right? So So here again the syntax for if else block is if condition. Inside the block you can write any statement, so followed by your else. So for else you need not specify any condition, right? You should not specify any condition. So if you specify any condition for else, it will result in an error in any kind of programming language, right? So this is the base syntax of if else block. So let's have an example. So the first block is similar to the previous example. With that I am adding else, right? So else print not eligible to vote, right? So you can change this statement according to your programming language, right? So let's move on to else if. So else if ladder statement can be used in situation. So if you want to check multiple set of conditions. So as I told in the beginning of the video, so if there are n number of ways to choose a particular destination. For example, take Google Map, right? So in that you can see the direction, that is you can see the way to particular source and destination, and also it will list out the timing with respect to different modes of transport. So if you are traveling in bike, the timing to reach a destination will be different. If you are going by car, the timing will be different, and if you are going by walk, the timing will be different. So for choosing the decision depending on multiple conditions, we can have else if ladder statement, right? So the syntax is your if block will be continued with else if condition, again else if condition. So we can use n number of else if block, right? So finally we can have our else block, right? So this is a way of creating your else if ladder statement. So the first thing is if condition, so which is simple if block. It is followed by else if statement, right? Which is else keyword followed by if followed by your condition, right? Inside this block you can write any kind of statement, right? So we can have n number of else if statement and finally else. So in this, if the condition given inside the first if block is true, only the if block will get executed, remaining portion will not be executed, right? Similarly, if the first else if block condition is true, only that particular block will be executed. So if any of the if condition or else if condition is evaluated to true, if these any of these condition is evaluated to false, your else block will get executed, right? So this is about your else if statement. So we can have one example as first if. So if the user is entering a number and we are going to describe something about that number, right? So if the entered number is, when we perform modulo operation on that number by 2, and if the remainder is 0, we can say that number is an even number. If it is not equal to 0, we can say that number as odd number. And if we perform modulo operation on that specific number with 5, and if the remainder is equal to 0, we can say that that number is divisible by 5. And in the else statement, we can say it as it is not matching any pattern, right? So this is a pseudocode for your else if ladder statement. So I hope this is clear for you. If you have any doubt on this, you can provide your queries in comment section, right? Let's move on to nested if statement. So while creating a large scale application, there might be a need to check a condition depending on another condition, right? So in such cases, we can use if block inside another if block. So this is one if block here. If condition, we have opened and closed the block. Instead of giving any statement inside the if block, we have provided if block, right? So having if statement inside another if statement is called nested if, right? So you can provide the condition as per your wish, right? So if the number is divisible by 2 and also it is divisible by 5, we can print the numbers. So any condition you wish to provide, right? So this is about if statement, right? So let's move on to switch case. So switch case also enables you to choose a particular decision or choose a particular choice from a number of choices, right? So switch case is also a type of decision making statement, right? So let's see the syntax of switch statement, which is switch keyword followed by your condition or expression, right? So in case of switch case, we should not provide condition inside the argument position of your switch case, right? So I will explain it in example. So switch keyword followed by your expression. Inside switch we can have n number of cases. Case followed by your number. So in this, case is a keyword. After that, either numeric value can be used or a specific character can be used, right? So if you are using number, you can literally provide it as number itself. If you are using any character, you should enclose it in single quotes, right? So after that, you can provide your statement. In switch case, every statement must have, that is every case should have break statement, right? So why this is mandatory is, so if we are not providing break statement in all the cases, the compiler will loop back in that particular case itself, right? So even if it is true, it will not come out of that particular case, right? So for that we are using break statement here, right? So similarly you can have n number of cases, right? So if any of the cases are true, we can provide some default statement to be executed, and it is up to you to use break statement for your default, right, as it is the end of your block, right? So we can have an example of switch. Inside a bracket I have provided the variable. So switch case takes a single variable as an argument, right? So you should not provide condition inside a switch case, right? So it will take a variable, and depending on the value of that variable, our case should be designed, right? So here, if the case is 1, print it is Sunday. After that, break statement. If the case is 2, print it as Monday, break statement, and for 3, print as Tuesday, and finally default, right? So it is not limited to 3 cases. You can have n number of cases. That is up to you, right? So until you are having n number of choices, you can continue a number of cases, right? So this is a way of using switch case in programming language, right? So these decision making construct will not change to language, right? So the thing that will change is your variable declaration inside the blocks, or your printing statement, or any other individual logic of that particular language, right? So these are the things that is going to change, but the syntax of these construct will not change from language to language, right? So this is all about your decision making statement, and let's move on to looping statement, right? So the looping statement can be used in certain situation where you need to perform a particular task repeatedly, right? So for example, if you are paying an EMI monthly, so to make it automized, you can have a looping statement, right? So for every month or for every 3 months, you are paying some specified amount as your EMI, right? So for such kind of doing repeated activity again and again, we can have looping statements, right? So this is a basic purpose of looping statement. And as I told you that this looping statement execute repeatedly until the given condition evaluates to false, right? So there are basically 3 types of looping programming construct. One is while loop, another one is do while loop, another one is for loop, right? So out of these 3, for loop and while loop are called as entry controlled loop or entry check loop, right? Which means these 2 loops execute only if the condition is true. That is, these 2 loops will execute the given condition first. After that, if the condition is true, the body of the loop will get executed, right? Whereas do while loop is called exit check loop or exit controlled loop, which means it will execute the statement. After that, it will check the condition, so that your do while loop will get executed at least once, even if the condition evaluates to false, right? Because this particular looping construct will execute the body of the loop even before checking the condition, right? So this is a brief intro of looping statement. Let's move on to while loop, right? So the basic syntax of while loop is while condition followed by your statement, right? So an example of while loop is here, while keyword followed by the condition, right? So inside the loop we have printed the value of A, right? So assume that if the value of A is 5 and inside when the compiler is executing this particular line, it will check whether the given condition is true. So 5 is less than 10, right? So this condition is true. It will print the value of A, right? So after that, if you are having some incrementation after the print statement, the value of A will be printed. After printing each time, the value of A will be incremented, right? So at some instant, the value of A will be greater than 10, right? So when the value of A becomes 11, your loop will get terminated, right? So in this way, your while loop will get executed, right? So after that, we can move on to do while, right? So what the do while statement will do is, the basic syntax has given here. Do, inside the block we can have any kind of statement. After the body of the loop, we are going to check the condition, while condition, right? So an example is given here. Do, inside the do block we have printed the value A. After printing that, while A is greater than 2. So we are checking the condition after the body of the statement gets executed, right? So this is why the body of the do while loop will get executed at least once, even if the test condition is false, right? So this is about your do while loop, right? After that, for loop. So for loop is having 3 parts. The first part is initialization. After that, test condition or test condition. After the increment or decrement segment, right? So the mandatory thing in for loop is these 3 segments are mandatory, right? So even if you skip initialization, you should provide semicolon at least, right? So this is a basic syntax of for loop. The execution of for loop will be, first the initialization segment will be executed. After that, our test condition will be executed, right? So if the test condition is true, the body of the loop will be executed. After that, it goes to increment or decrement segment, right? So one thing to note about for loop is this initialization segment gets executed only once, right? So whereas based on the increment and decrement value, your test condition will be evaluated. and once the test condition gets evaluated to false, your loop will get terminated, right? So this is the working flow of your for loop. So here we are having an example for a equal to 5, a is less than 10, a plus plus, right? So here we have initialized the value for the variable a to 5. After that we are checking the condition whether a is less than 10, right? So at this case the condition is true, it will print the value, right? So it will print the value as 5 here, right? So after printing the value 5, it will increment the value of a here, right? So as we have given increment statement here, right? So after incrementation, the value of a will become 6. Again it will check the condition, 6 is less than 10. So this condition is true, again it will print, right? So up to 9, the value of a will be printed. When it reaches 10, the condition will be false. So your for loop will get terminated, right? So this is about your looping statement in programming construct, right? So I am explaining the purpose of looping statement and the basic syntax and example for each looping construct in this series, right? So if you want to have more programming explanation, stay tuned with Home of Programming. We are having some basic programming using decision making and looping statement in this series itself. In this series we will use Java programming language, right, for programming, right? So after that we can move on to operators, right? So the common operators used in every programming languages are arithmetic operators, relative operators, logical operator, increment or decrement operator, assignment operators, right? So here arithmetic operators is nothing but the operator which allows you to perform arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulo operation, right? So to perform addition or any kind of arithmetic operations on your variable, we can use arithmetic operators, right? So the relational operator are used to compare some values, right? So your relational operators will be used to test a condition, right? So these are the relational operators we are having. One is less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, double equal to and not equal to, right? So these are about your relational operators. Logical operators, to combine multiple conditions we can use logical operator, right? So the basic logical operators are and or not, right? So we will see example of these operator construct using Java programming language, right? So after that increment or decrement, so which is plus plus and minus minus, right? So these operators can also be called as unary operators, right? This is about your basic programming construct, which is we have seen about decision making statement, looping statement and operators, right? So here in decision making statement we are having two construct, if and switch, right? So under if we are having further classification as simple if else block, else if ladder and finally nested if, right? Similarly we are having switch case, so which provide you to choose a particular option from the list of available option, right? So then the looping construct will allow you to perform a task repeatedly, right? So we have learned about operators, right? So this is all about this video. Stay tuned with Home of Programming for getting live updates regarding programming. Subscribe to our channel for getting more information about programming. Thank you.